Have you ever been trapped in a world where the very people who are sent into this world to protect you are now the ones you need protection from? You have? You haven't? Well, stay tuned as we take a deeper dive into this next guest's life.
Born a boy for sure. And we
Hey, Goldies!
Welcome back to my YouTube channel. It's your girl, Precious Gold. Welcome back, Goldies. If you are a new subscriber, hey girl, how you doing? And if you are a returning subscriber, hi Goldie, how you doing? Thank you so much for tuning in. All right, Goldies, we have a very special guest with us today, and here she is. Tasia Simone, give it up for her, people. I am so grateful for, you acknowledging my call, to get interviewed. I appreciate you being on here, right? And just a quick backstory of how we met. We met in school, right? Yes. When I was working, I'm currently working with the IT department, and I think you came in looking for a new laptop. Yes. I think, right. So, and then we just got to talking, and how you said, I think I complimented your, was it shoes, like your jacket, or was my nails or something? Right. And then you complimented me back, and we just got to talking on TikTok videos and Shein and all that. Yeah. But we found out that she also has a YouTube channel. I'm going to be leaving that, on the description, so you guys can check her out. She has a YouTube channel, and that's how we kind of bonded and, got to talking. So, guys, I'm like, this time I need to get you on my channel. We need to talk about some things because my girl has been through some things. You hear me? And what really got me was the fact that, when I met you, you were so bubbly. You were so happy. You were so, hi. I'm like, with all the things you've been through, a normal person would just be like, ask everybody, I'm not doing this, I'm not being nice, I'm not being hurtful, I'm not, whatever. But you just, were so kind. And I'm like, damn, you've been through so much and you still have it in you to be so kind to others. How does that even work? How do you do that?
Well, I feel as though hurt people. But I try not to be that person. And I feel like energy is real. So I feel like if you put out good energy, it'll come back to you. And honestly, I love seeing people happy. I love giving people good energy. So when I saw you, I felt the same way about you. I'm like, who is this girl? And I wasn't having a good day. So when I encountered you, it was needed.
Yes, girl. Oh my gosh, thank you. Mm-hmm. And yeah, it was just such a good time just talking. I know we talked about 20 minutes.
Oh, we did.
Maybe more. We were just standing there talking. I'm like, what? That was so cool.
Yes.
It was really nice meeting you, girl. Tasia Simone. Once again, y'all. All right, Tasia. I don't know if you're ready to just get straight into it.
I am, girl.
Okay. So she has a very unique story to tell, and I'm sure it's going to resonate with other girls, other women out there. It's not just you. Mm-hmm. I've heard something similar, but definitely not as, bad as you have it.
Yeah.
But, you can't tell. This babe looks so good. What? But yes, it's just try to give us a background story. Where were you from? What kind of family did you come from? And things like that.
Okay, so I am originally from Muskegon, Michigan. I come from a family of mostly women. Majority, 90% is women. My mom had all girls, so it's 4 of us. And then I have 2 aunts. And then we have only 2 boys, and then our immediate. So, yeah.
Wow.
But my child, you said my background growing up, right?
Yeah.
So, I spend just like any child, I spend a lot of time with family, cousins, friends, childhood friends in the neighborhood. Just the normal African American childhood.
Growing up.
Yeah.
Okay. Are you close to any of your siblings?
Yes, I'm close with my siblings.
Okay.
Due to everything that's been going on recently, I've been needing some distance, not because there's anything wrong, just because I need space to kind of like process everything I'm going through.
Of course.
And
Understandable.
of course, and it's just been, I've been needing some solitude, so.
I feel that.
Yes, girl.
I feel that.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, if you can also just give us a quick backstory as to, like what age were you when your mom had to remarry, and what age your dad passed, and things like that.
So my dad drowned in Muskegon, Michigan, at a lake called Lake Michigan, of course, but it's Pure Marquette. And it's interesting because when my father passed, there was an artist out there that day, and she decided to just draw what she was seeing. And so she drew like a beautiful picture of the beach, and it was the day that my dad drowned, not knowing that someone was going to drown that day. And she sent that picture to my grandmother while she found out. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
Inside.
Yeah. So I was pretty young when he passed away.
How old?
I was 8 months.
Oh, wow.
I was 8 months. Well, I think I was 8 or 9 months.
Do you remember his face?
I remember his face because my family has, like, growing up, showed me pictures and stuff. But just, like, how we're talking or having memories like that, If only we had social media during that time, right?
Right. And I can only imagine how, like, that must have felt, losing someone that's supposed to be your protector at such a young age.
Absolutely.
Right.
When my mom got remarried, I was in 4th grade. I remember it like it was yesterday.
You were young.
I was young. My memory is very, very good. I remember my teacher.
I see.
Yeah. I wasn't happy. I remember my teacher, her name was Mrs. Prime. I went to Men's Elementary at the school at the time. And she was telling me, I was telling her, like, oh, I'm about to get married, blah, 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 But at the wedding, my mom, during the time where it says, does anyone want to object? Me and my sister both, after the wedding, we were talking and we're like, damn, did you want to say something? She's like, yeah, Taylor, I want to say something. She's like, I was going to say something, but I didn't want to interrupt her day. And I was like,
yeah, you had that feeling.
We both did. And after the wedding, I will never forget, we were on our way to the limo, and my mom asked me, was I happy? And in the inside, I wanted to say, no, I wanted to object this whole damn wedding. But, it was her day, and I wanted her to be happy. But what's interesting is my grandmother that day, this sticks with me now, looking back. She came up to me and whispered congratulations in my ear. And I didn't really understand what that meant, but now with all of this going on and coming to the forefront, it's like, what did that really mean? Because if I was in 4th grade at the time and I got pregnant at 12, what did congratulations mean towards me? You know what I mean? Did you willingly know that I was
something was going to happen?
Yeah, or I was in a bad situation. But like that could be me just being deeply in my thoughts, overthinking,
And as you should. That's very understandable that you wouldn't want to analyze every single thing that has been said to you at that moment too.
You think I have not, girl?
I've never. I can imagine.
Yes.
I can imagine. So since when they got married and everything,
yeah.
When did that, abuse started? Like,
well, the abuse started when I was in 1st grade. So the abuse goes back to
not even 4th grade.
Not even 4th grade. No, the abuse started when I was in 1st grade. We stayed in our crossing apartments for 2 years, first and second grade, and that is when I was introduced sexually to a lot of different activity.
Oh, wow. That is so sad. I don't know why I was thinking it was like the fourth grade that when they got married, but I guess they were dating, right?
Yes.
And he was around you guys.
Yes, they were dating. We already had she already had my two younger sisters. So before they got married, for him.
Okay.
So before they got married, they had already had a child.
Okay. So, before they got married, like, how was y'all's relationship? Did you see him as a stepdad? Like, how was he nice? When did the whole abuse start?
So the abuse started in Arbor Crossing Apartments, first, second grade. My mom got pregnant with my younger sister.
Yes.
They broke up. When they broke up, me and my older sister went through her pregnancy with her the whole time. He wasn't around at all. And those are with both pregnancies, not just both of my sisters. And they both were premature. So it was a process of her healing and the child healing, and he wasn't around for that. So he wasn't really around during that time.
You want to go into more of the whole abuse, like what happened and everything?
So the abuse that I survived was mental abuse, physical abuse, verbal abuse, emotional abuse, all across the board. I think that it was a sense of jealousy there, because you are laying with someone who is fantasizing about your kids. You know what I'm saying?
From your mom? You said jealousy from your mom's side?
Yeah, jealousy from my mom directly, just from her older daughters, because your man is lusting after
your kid.
Right. And so with that desperation, wanting him there, you know what I mean? How far you're willing to go. And that leads us to the chloroform and the propofol and the drugs and things like that.
Okay. Yeah. So the first time the abuse happened, I know you kind of, during the wedding, you did say you kind of had a weird feeling, you and your sister.
Yeah.
You weren't really happy about that. So I'm guessing that happened because he already started kind of abusing you in the first grade, or
right
when. Okay.
Yeah, so you have it right. So first, second, my little sister was born, right?
Yeah.
And then we moved to Allen Street in Muskegon, Michigan. We moved to Allen Street. I went to a school called Three Oaks. They broke up, but he was dipping in. She got pregnant when he was dipping in and out. So during that, she got pregnant with my youngest sister. Pregnancy was very, very traumatic. We had to stay at like the Ronald McDonald House. She was in the hospital for like days and days. I had to perform an emergency surgery. My younger sister was on a breathing machine when she came home. It was just a lot, and he was not there during any of the process. So
that made it harder.
It made it harder, and it grew her kids up a little bit earlier because we were taking on so much responsibility, and my mom lost so much blood in the hospital too. So it was just a lot, you know.
I bet.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he came back around, just to clarify, he came back around fourth grade. And that's when they got married. He proposed, and from then on it continued. So I had a little year and some change of a break of peace.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Okay. And then once they got married, tell me about your life then.
The thing about him, he is a person who we didn't have a relationship basically. I wouldn't consider as a woman, now that I'm a grown adult, if I have a grown man in my household, I don't consider that a healthy or even having a relationship at all. It would be times I would come downstairs. If my daughter comes downstairs, if you're picking her up from school or whatever, ask her how her day was. How are you? Greet her. You know, and likewise, of course. But
it wasn't like that.
It wasn't like that, and it was a lot of separation going on. So, and then when it was interaction, it was like forced. I remember he would always call me for things just to sit and watch him cook or sit and watch him do this and that. And one day I'm like, why are you always calling my name? Like, why are you always, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm not a rude person at all, but you know, and I don't like to be mean to people, but it got to the point to where, you know,
it makes sense.
Yeah. And he told me like, every time I call you, you have to come. Like, and my mom was like, you need to come downstairs. He just wants to spend time with you. Well, he's not doing that to my older sister. He's not doing that to her. You know what I'm saying? My older sister, by the time she was 15, she was completely out of the house. So, you know.
Do you think that has to do with him?
I think it has something to do with a little bit of everything. My mom and my sister didn't get along. They got in a lot of physical altercations growing up. So I feel like it was I remember a night my mom, me, my stepdad, and my sister got into an argument. And I let my mom and my sister have their go at it. You know, I stayed out of it, right? So Kenyon, I'm not protecting them, so I'm saying their names. Kenyon, he started to, you know, get involved. Then he also started to talk about my dad, which my dad is deceased, as you know. Talk about our family, talk about his mother, just saying things that are irrelevant in that to hurt her children. You know, at this point, why are you even saying these things?
Right.
So I insert myself at this point. I'm like, let it be between them. If they're having a conversation or whatever going off on each other, just let them do them.
Right.
So then we get into an argument. But you know, I'm a little bit more strong-headed and a little bit more spicy.
They don't like that.
Okay, so we got into it, and he charged at me. And the night before, there was a bunch of beer. There were people over, so it was a bunch of leftover like beer bottles on the counter. So before I knew it, when he charged at me, I started picking up the beer bottles and just hitting me in his head with everyone I can get. And I remember my mom just standing looking like she was in distress, not knowing what to do, trying to break it up. And he's like, oh, you know, that doesn't faze me, that doesn't faze me, you know, talking tough. So we get apart, and my mom and my sister goes downstairs. And my mom told me to go upstairs, and she wanted to talk to my sister by herself. And so when I asked my sister, I said, what did mom say to you? And she said, well, she asked me, why do you listen to me and not to her? Like, you know, so I think it was you know, when you're working and someone is, when my mom came home, her house was clean, her kids was in the bed, they were fed, they were changed, you know? And so it's like, I think it was like a jealousy of maybe my sister me and my sister running the household. And then on top of that, you're running my household, you're raising my kids, and my husband wants to sleep with you, you know? But if you would just remove that person, then you wouldn't have any of those problems.
We can go in depth about, you know, how it started and how it progressed.
Got you. So it started with me I was a kid that would get out of my bed in the middle of the night and go sleep get in the bed with my mom or get in the bed with my sister.
That's typical.
Yeah. And so she let her boyfriend and me sleep all with her, you know, together. And at first it started off with me being like this, you know, and then I think that he's like, you know, you can trust me. I'm not gonna, you can put it right here, da da. So then for like a while, that was fine. And then it started to be to where he would put his hand over on me and move it a little bit, and I would move it off me. And so then I stopped going in his room, and I would go in the room with my sister. And then it got to the point he would say, no, I want her to get used to me, tell her to come in here, she can sleep in here with us. And then one day he actually started to rub my genital area, and I was
in your mom's room.
In my mom's room. My mom was back was faced towards me, and I was trying to push his hand away. And when I was trying to do that, I was saying, Mom, Mom, like, you know, and this to the point I'm screaming. So I know you hear me because you're laying right here. And I'm kicking her back. I'm just trying to do everything that I can. And then it got to the point to where she must have felt some guilt because she was like, I hear you, Tasia. I'm like, you're not going to help me? You know, it was a whole thing. And from that point on, it was like a forceful, bring your ass in here. And sometimes he would say it like that, like, bring your ass in here. And drag, it would even be to the point to sometimes where he would drag me in the room because I would be kicking and screaming, not wanting to go with him.
Okay. Wow. Okay. So it basically just started off even with your mom laying in bed together with you. He started off by touching you, your genitals, you said?
Yeah, that's why, you know, I don't suggest if you're a single parent and you're a female that you just trust anyone to, you have a small daughter, even a small son, any small children, because gender really doesn't even matter.
Yes, these men are perverts.
They're perverts and pedophiles, and just don't have your kid sleeping in a bed with you with if it's not their father, then I would just say no. If you're having company, sleep in the bed with your brother and sister, or stay in your room for the night or whatever, but do not just trust people with your kids, because when it's not their kids and you're laying next to the wrong man, it could be detrimental to your child.
Okay. So when did it start? When did he full on, start the penetration?
So not long after that, maybe like a few months, not even a few months, maybe a few weeks later. And in my previous interview that I did with Once an Orphan, and I don't know if I spoke on this in Trapping Anonymous or not, but she put the whole bottle of lube on me. And at first it just started off as the tip of just testing. And then one day, it wasn't the full, but it was enough to give me like, and I remember when he did that, I kind of like was just screaming and crying. And also with the gas.
Taking aback.
Yeah, taking aback. And my mom started to cry. And I'm thinking to my mom, like, now that I'm grown, I'm like,
why are you crying?
But what the hell is wrong with you? Ain't nothing. The only thing you're doing here in the room is holding your daughter down. And then she would hold me with her forearm like this to hold my arms, and then like use her hands to hold my legs.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it was intense.
Mm-hmm. Girl. Oof. Okay. Mm-hmm. Why do you think your mom didn't fight back with him, even supported him or enabled him?
My mom didn't fight back because it was things that she was doing before he even got in the picture.
Okay.
So I remember her like masturbating. I remember one day at the time I know what body parts are, but I'm not. She opened her legs and said, "Do you know what this is?" And started to play with it and said, "Let me see yours." And so to me, and he was, and I don't know if she was dealing with him at this time, and he just wasn't like, I didn't physically see him, or what the deal was. But at the end of the day, I'm not giving her any passes. Regardless if you did it before or after, it's still,
you should have defended your daughter.
You should have defended your daughter where she could hatch her knocks.
No matter what.
Tanisha Hatcher, Timothy Hatcher, let's just call all the names out. And I'll also give you the documentation so you can post that and insert that.
Of course,
yeah.
Yes. Okay, please. Okay, and I can't imagine how betrayed you must have felt, like your mom being the one to like hold you down for somebody else to abuse you.
Yes. Very empty, nothingness, alone, depressed, cold feeling. It's the only way I can describe it, to be completely honest with you. Yeah,
I can imagine.
Mm-hmm.
How do you think? Okay, how did you get out of that? Because I know you mentioned, it went on fully penetration and you got pregnant with
Yes.
by your stepdad.
Yes, that was 2006, 2007.
Wow. And you still remember the date. You like really good.
Yes. I remember we lived on 1956 Hudson Street in Muskegon, Michigan. When I got pregnant, it was 2006, 2007 year, the year of that in between there. Yeah.
How did that play out?
So, I'll go ahead and just tell your audience what chloroform is and what propofol is and explain that so they can have a little bit of clarification.
Yes. Okay.
So, if you ever saw the movie Taken and know a little bit how she was taken and drugged and when she woke up a little bit distorted, if not, if you know a little bit about sex trafficking, that is also a real thing. And if you look on TikTok or any social media, you'll see a lot of women talking how they'll go, people say, hey, you know, you should look into my business, and giving them a card and it'll be a substance on it, and now they're woozy and things like that. So these drugs are real. Even if you go to there's date rape drugs where college girls will go to parties and then she'll wake up and wonder, like, so all of those things are real. So specifically speaking to my situation, chloroform is a substance that she used. It was a liquid form and you would put it on a cloth. That is the medication that people would normally use to come up behind you and now you're out, things like that. So when I told you previously that they were coming in my room, I think we spoke on that, right? Mm-hmm. So I was already asleep. And you know, back in the day, those 90s doors that you could get in with a butter knife, came in and they were putting the substance underneath my nose while I was already sleeping, which puts me in a deeper sleep.
Was it like how long did that keep going? When did you get pregnant till you got pregnant?
I got pregnant in the 6th grade at Bunker Middle School.
Wow.
Yes.
The 6th grade. You were how old?
I was 12 going on 13.
Oh.
So we started school
oh my God.
The summer of 2006 at Bunker Middle School. Mr. Perkins, Bradley Perkins was the president, not the president, was the principal. You know, I remember everybody.
Girl, your brain is...
Okay. And fact check me if you think I'm wrong. But, wow. So we started 6th grade, this 2006, September. My birthday is in November. So I got pregnant at 12, then had her at 13. I want to clarify that too. Because the titles on everything that's been on social media is pregnant at 12, but I got pregnant at 12. So just to clarify for anybody in the comments in previous videos that had those questions.
Yes, and actually I was looking in the comments of like the previous interviews you've done about like some family members coming up and calling bullshit, even though we know it's not. So you want to tell us a bit more about that?
Absolutely, Queen. Yes. So we have family members. My cousin Anaya Donnelly, Tanisha Hatcher's daughter.
I love how you just call it names.
Girl, I'm not sparing it. Okay,
please.
Anaya Donnelly was in the comments because they want to be known, right? They're in the comments, so let's go ahead and put them on Front Street.
Please.
So she was in the comments saying that, oh, I'm her first cousin. I would have known. She's saying
she's trying to say you lying.
She's saying I'm a liar. I mean, then she's saying, oh, she's just upset because my grandfather gave my mom this house. And let me tell you something. I'm gonna be honest with you. We're talking about someone who's speaking out loud and so wrong, so loudly wrong. Your mother, Anaya Donnelly, is on a lie detector test that is, let's be clear too, because she also said that my polygraph examiner was not official, that it was fake. Oh, my polygraph examiner is licensed through the state of Michigan. He also works with the prosecutor, DJ Hilson, and put that test on his desk directly. So they work with him. They've worked with him in other cases. He's been on Dr. Phil. You can look up his resume. To have something in black and white and be a mother yourself and have no sympathy towards that.
It's mind blowing.
Exactly. And my question would be to my mother, what the hell is going on? Like, what is my cousin talking about? There's none of that, because she knows her mom is lying. And so, but we're going to dismiss them. Oh, and as far as me wanting the house, when I graduated from Kalamazoo Valley, just this past April, I knew that I was already moving out of state to come to Texas Southern University. So I'm not, and then I don't have a family. I don't have a husband. I'm not married. So me wanting a 5-bedroom house, and I don't need that space. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And then she's like, oh, you're so needy and this and that. I don't know what the hell, who's their messenger that they're talking to. But I would suggest, if I was any of them, anybody connected to the Hatcher family, the Knox family, the Donnelly family, or anybody connected to these people, if you do not have real facts, I suggest you be quiet, because there are so many other things I have not said, that I have not brought to the forefront, that will make you look even more foolish, okay? So then moving on,
oh my God,
just to address more comments, we had an old college roommate in the comments saying, I knew her since college, and then she's questioning Chris Styles, which is Trapped Anonymous. The video is almost on its way to about 100K. He does has his college degree, and he for a video to almost be on its way to 100K, he has a strong platform.
He does.
So, and he is also connected to Breakbeat Media, which if he did not have any credentials, he would not be able to have his show on that platform. Mm-hmm. So these are all lies, and also, I just want to be clear. Your childhood. Let me make sure that they heard that correctly. Your childhood is 0 to 18, right? So if you met me in college, that is me stepping into my young womanhood, adulthood, learning how to be a woman.
Yeah.
So everything that happened to me happened before I even met Treasure Shepherd, because she wants her name to be known too. So we'll put that out there. Treasure Shepherd is so loud and so wrong. So I just have to say to anyone who has a rebuttal against what I am saying, if you do not have any facts, hardcore facts, let's also be clear, these people are not willing to take a polygraph test because they know they're not going to pass. If you go to my YouTube channel and listen to Clock It Girl, because I got to say it, we can't be politically correct in every interview. If you go to my YouTube channel and watch part 1 through 5, you'll hear the audios of them admitting.
I did that. Okay. I saw all of it.
Okay, so she can attest. Women, we have to embrace one another. And being an aunt myself, like I'm coming from a perspective of every scenario, of me being in everyone's shoes, and me being an aunt. If my niece came to me and told me, hey, someone hurt me or this happened to me, I'm going to ask probing questions. What happened? Yes. What did they do when they walked in the room? Did he touch you here, there? I'm going to ask very detailed questions. There was none of that. It was none of that. And so it was nothing but deflection. Those are 3 to 4 bad apples. You know what I'm saying? If you go to my Trapped Anonymous interview, it is full of love and support. If you go to my Once an Orphan interview with Jasmine, it is full of love and support. And the comments on her lovely video will be full of love and support. Just because those people see it that way, that's exactly why their name is on that test, so we'll leave it there. But thank you guys for all of the love and support. I do want to put that out there because it's been an overflow of that.
Yeah, for sure. No, because my supporters, my Goldies, that's what I call my YouTubers, people subscribe to me, they are very kind and nice. So I definitely feel like, and this is like the first time I've told a story like this on my channel.
Yeah.
So honestly, I just know you're going to be flooded with a lot of love, and you do need that. I mean, I feel like you're doing good on your own.
Yeah.
Right? Like you're a happy person. I'm texting you today, like, girl, you need to hurry up. Like, da 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 da. And you're like, well, I'm coming 5:30, and you're just so bubbly, and I'm just like, girl, like, what is wrong with you? Like, do you not remember all the things you've been through? But I feel like that's also just God's. Like, what do you say to that? Like, do you feel like God has been working on you? Like, how's your mental health? And like, how did you get over all these things?
So I would say prayer and taking time out. Like I really I have been, and I've been doing this for like the past 6 months. Just really taking time out for myself and figuring out my thoughts. I don't really talk to anyone because I feel like I'm a person that believes you have to work it out with self first. I can know what I've gone through and easily call a bunch of people and say, what should I do? But they don't know what I should do because they're not walking in my shoes.
Yes.
So some people make it seem as though it's a little weird to talk to self, but you have to work it out with self first. Once you work it out with self and you kind of, get everything organized, pray about it. Ask God, tell God what your concerns are, tell God what you're feeling, and He'll help you. It's been a struggle. I will never sit here and say it hasn't been a struggle. But I would say the 5 stages of grieving is real. I learned about that in my psychology class, and I feel like I am at the stage of acceptance. I'm no longer angry. I'm no longer questioning or trying to find a reason of why this happened. It happened. It's in black and white from the OBGYN, from the police reports, from, the polygraph test, from the audios, so it is what it is.
Oh man. Okay. So what would you say if your baby was watching? What message would you try to pass across to him or her if they were watching?
Yeah. That is the most sweetest question I have been asked so far. Like, that's the best question. I'm happy that you asked me that. I'm happy that she asked me that. I would say to my daughter that your girl. Yes. I would say to my daughter that your mother is a fighter, that she's a warrior, that I will never give up on you and stop looking for you, that you are loved, you are important, and you got my blood running through your veins, which lets me know that you're determined and you're not a quitter. So best believe that no matter what is going on in my life, everything that I do, I'm doing it for you. Every time that I have to sacrifice or be patient, because if only you knew what I want to do and just come pick you up and find you, and embrace you with love. I can't wait to embrace you. I can't wait to embrace you with love and care. And I know that I've missed out on a lot of moments. I know that I've missed out on your childhood, but I think that God makes no mistakes, sweetheart. And I think this is the perfect timing. Like I'm working through all of my trauma. So, and I'm praying on it, and I'm doing that on purpose. So when I do come before you, I'm in a good mental state to be able to do whatever you need me to do in whichever way that you need me to do it. I love you. I love you deeply.
Oh my God, Tasha. I know. Oh my God. That was so beautiful.
Thank you.
Wow. Okay. Like, I just know that, when you have that opportunity again, once you have that chance again to be a mother, you won't take it for granted. Absolutely. You would definitely give your child your best. And I just, okay. But so just real quick.
Yeah.
When you had the baby, how did that play out? Like how did that whole experience come? Like, how did you even know you were pregnant? Did your mom tell you, or like,
Yeah.
how did that happen?
So I also want to, because we spoke on the comments earlier, I also want
Yes.
it was a comment, and someone said in one of my previous interviews that I went over the question of, when I talk about I was drugged, how did I know I was drugged? Like, how do you know they were giving it to you? So this is going to lead into the answer.
Okay.
So when they came in my room, remember I told you they had the 90s doors?
Yes.
And I asked them, why are you coming in my room? Because when I woke up and found the substance on me and my underwear were down.
Oh.
Because they would come break in my room and then put the chloroform under my nose.
You would lock the door because you didn't even feel safe.
I locked the door because growing up, that was just something that I always did. I just locked the door behind me. But I told, when I saw the substance on me, this is before I knew that they were coming in my room. I woke up and saw the substance on me, and I was kind of just waking up. So I was like, saw the blurry like kind of leave out. So I told my grandmother and my aunt, and I said, hey, I woke up, there was something on me, and my underwear were down. And my aunt looked at my grandmother and said, you know exactly what's going on. Like, they're doing the same thing to her that you guys did to us. And that's when I knew that I was being drugged by the chloroform and the propofol, because they started to argue and those medications got brought up. And so she was like, she's like, your grandmother's not going to tell you the truth. She's conforming with all of this. When you go to sleep, she's like, I can't save you. That's what she told me. She couldn't save me. I don't know what that meant. But she said, when you go home tonight, don't go to sleep, stay up, and you'll see that they're coming in your room. So lo and behold, I go home, I stay up, they're drilling that door trying to get in. They come in and I say, why are you guys coming in my room? And they said, we were just trying to make sure you were sleeping okay. But I call bullshit to that, okay?
Me too.
One day, she's looking at me and she's like, you look pregnant. And I'm like, I'm not pregnant. And she's like, no, you look pregnant. And so I took a pregnancy test, and lo and behold, I was pregnant. So from that point on, and I was 12 and I was, tiny. So it's not like the teachers at school are looking for a 12-year-old to be pregnant.
Right.
And then when you're already, 90 pounds, maybe 100 pounds, it's not easily seen. And as you grow, if you're putting saran wrap, and it was like it's almost like a turban wrap, almost like a thick wrap around the stomach. If you're doing that on top of her being 100 pounds, no one's seeing that, And then I was
so they were doing that, like putting a wrap on you?
Yeah.
To
every
go to
morning
school.
to go to school. Yeah.
Oh.
The whole time that this is going on, my mom is in school for nursing. She's trying to do the best she can and get the knowledge to deliver this baby that she has from that, on top of Google, on top of just looking up midwife stuff, just, doing the best she can, because you can't take a 12-year-old to the abortion clinic. You can't take a 12-year-old to the hospital because you're going to be questioned and go to jail. So how do I get rid of this baby? And if not that, what am I going to do when the baby actually gets here?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so it was a very traumatic experience. I'm going to fast forward to labor.
Okay.
Laying in bed, feel like my stomach is pulling, but it's coming from, it's the sides to the middle, but it's pulling like a ball in one area. It started like that, and I believe that was just my stomach contracting, maybe. I wasn't, I'm 12, so no one's explaining what pregnancy is, what I'm feeling.
Course.
But I'm pretty sure those were contractions and what that was. So then it became a full body of pain. Like, it went from going to the middle of my stomach to all of, like, it was just like, I was sweating. It was a lot. And I remember my mom was telling me to push. She was like, kind of had her hand on my forehead and kind of looking down. It was a few people in the room. It was my mom, her best friend, my best friend's brother, and
why was he there?
We'll get to that in a second.
Okay.
And
your stepdad?
And my mom. My stepdad wasn't there. He didn't even want to be in the room.
Of course.
Yeah, it was intense. And I just want to touch on this too. People have asked me that question, you know, what's going on with Dominique Buchanan? Who is that? What did he do? Well, he's already on the sex offender list. They said Treasure Shepherd and Tanisha Hatcher they were like, yeah, even your best friend, Dar'Asia Buchanan, even Dar'Asia Buchanan said X, Y, and Z, X, Y, and Z. Well, Dar'Asia Buchanan, my ex-best friend, would say that because she's the same girl that her brother gang raped a girl at a hotel in Muskegon, Michigan. The little girl ran across the street to Long John Silver's. And then when the case was brought up, she went to the high school and scared the girl into not coming to testify against her brother. So this is someone who is just as accountable in helping him get away with certain things. Right. And so if you know, you can kind of tell which kids are accounted for. Like if you go into a classroom, you can see who takes, you know, just from a visual, you can kind of tell. So with her being my best friend and him knowing that my mom doesn't care and him being a pedophile, it's a playground for him. But my best friend, she's not shit either. I came to her about all of this. She was on board when it was my family. Oh, this is crazy. Da da da. She said one thing that made me question her. It was support until I got the lie detector test. And she said, well, how do you know if that's real? So that kind of threw me back. And then when I came to her about her brother, which also, I'm only here to tell my story, but she has her own story too. Trust and believe. But that's her prerogative to protect that. That's her prerogative to protect that. But, and I'll leave it there. It had to be eventually, maybe not a sedative drug that was strong. But even if it was like something they could get off the street, like a Percocet, just to numb the pain, it was something there.
A child.
Yeah. I want to clarify, when we go back to the beginning of when I first started getting abused, before the chloroform, because I know how people are in the comments, no one is giving chloroform or propofol to someone in first grade, right? So it started off with muscle relaxers. So in the form of a chocolate, you know, like you want some candy, you eat it so much, and when you eat so many, you know, you think, my mom gives me chocolate, you know, and when you take so much of that, it really relaxes your muscle. You imagine taking an overload of, you know, it's almost like taking a laxative. You take too many, you're not going anywhere, right? So, and it doesn't paralyze you to where you can't move, but when you're young, the little fight that you have, it paralyzes that. Does that make sense? The little fight that you have to, Mom wasn't working in the psych ward at that time. But when she started to steal the sedative drugs, which is like chloroform and propofol and things like that, that is when she started working at Northwood in Muskegon, Michigan. And that is where she was stealing the medication. That got me pregnant and kept me in that deep sleep.
So when you had your baby girl, I know you said you were able to look at her, hold her.
Yeah, eventually.
And they just took her? Well, was that the only day you were able to see her?
No, after a while, she had wrapped her up in a pink blanket, and we held her. And my mom was asking me, what do you want to name her? I'm like, I'm not sure yet.
Oh my God.
I thought that we were turning a new leaf. I thought that my daughter awakened some type of love in her, or a protection, to be a protector. Because my mom would stay upstairs, and it would be me, my mom, and my sister who, not my sister, I'm sorry, me, my mom, and my daughter who slept in the bed together. So it would be my daughter in the middle, my mom on one side, me on one side. And me thinking, and this is interesting because this was pointed out since I told my story, me thinking that this is turning a new leaf, my mom is like maybe starting to give a fuck.
Yeah.
Someone told me, no, your mom is street smart. What your mom was doing was manipulating you. She was making you feel comfortable enough, like she's going to protect your baby. Because when you woke up, the baby was gone. So she was just trying to get you comfortable somewhat so someone can come in and take your child. And when she said that, I'm like, you know what? Bingo. Because if she really loved the child, that had a love for the child would be here with us and our family. Even if she was like, I can't raise another child, it would have been some information that I would have known by now.
Right.
You know what I mean?
So no explanations?
Nothing.
Well, just wasn't there.
So when I asked my mom where my baby was, just so you have a clear visual of what my schedule was like, we would go to bed, three of us. wake up, I would, play with my baby, change her, feed her, go to school. Mom promised me she would protect my child. That's all I had at that time. I would get off the school bus, come home. My baby would be in my mom's room, her and my mom. We would go upstairs. I would, have my time, and then we would go to bed, and it would continue every day.
Like, how long was that? How long did that happen till you didn't see your baby anymore?
I want to say it was at least a month or two.
Okay, so about like a month or two?
About a month or two, yeah.
And that's even more hurtful because you got to feel the presence of your child. You got to play with your child. Did you name her eventually?
So this is where it gets tricky, right? So I don't want to put her name out there right now. I'm just going to be honest.
Okay.
I do know her name.
Okay. What if they probably changed the name?
That's what we're thinking because I like the name because I feel like it fits her, and I feel like that version of me would have given her that name because she's true royalty to me because you're my daughter and you my baby, so you royalty, you a queen. So I love your name. It fits you.
Royalty.
So it's not royalty.
Okay.
It's something close. Something close.
Okay.
Close. Something very close. But I can't just, it could have been changed. You never really know. But I did hire a private investigator. We know where she's at. We know her name. We know who she's in the custody of. We have all the facts. So now we're at the point of DNA test. But even though we're pretty much sure, we still have to have that have it in black and white.
Of course. Wow.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's really brave of you, still like going back to look for your child and not forgetting all the things that you've been through.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you could be going through so much hurt that you just decide to forget it all.
Yeah.
But that's really brave of you, and girl, you are really strong.
Thank you.
What you've done or what you're doing will definitely help generations to come, will help us now, women now, and women after us. Because, it's never ended. We give birth, we start new generations and things like that. So I definitely feel like, and I just know, like, if your baby girl is like out there watching this, she would just be so proud of who you are, of who you've become.
Thank you.
Because like I said, all the things you've gone through doesn't define you. You don't let it define you. You don't let it weigh you down in any way.
Absolutely.
You're still a very nice person, which I feel like even if you didn't go through all of that, you would have been even nicer. You would have even been more open.
Yeah.
Like, how do you feel like that has affected your friendship, your mental health, the way you see men and like things like that? How do you feel like?
Great question. I like that question. I think it has had a tremendous effect on my relationships, my sexuality. When I say my sexuality, I just mean me not being like, through my 20s, I wasn't really comfortable with my body. Like with men, I struggled with sex. Like I wasn't really sexual. I don't know. I wasn't comfortable. Like I wasn't comfortable with my body. And I think as a woman, when you're not comfortable with your body, it does have an effect on, who you let come into your personal space. And I think my demeanor is so strong that men can tell when I'm uncomfortable. And so then it gets to the point where, do you want me to touch you? Is that okay? And it is okay because I'm allowing you in my space, right? But I used to struggle with not allowing the uncomfortableness of my own personal inner trauma interfere with that moment, and then explain to him like, it's not you. I mean, it's me, and it just takes me a minute to get that comfortability. Even if I'm already comfortable with something like this, sexually, I still have to. That's a whole nother type of comfortable. And so I think that it has But to the positive effects that it's had on me is, I know you said when you met me, you're bubbly, you're nice, you're sweet, you're this, you're that, and I get that all the time. And people who did know me, I mean, who did already know me and then didn't know what happened to me, and now that they do know, they're like, Tasia, like, how you look like, but it's giving me a kind heart. It's giving me sympathy for others. So I try to be kind and understanding to others, because I know what it feels like not to have that. And so that's why I'm an advocate for the youth. I've done a lot of career days. I've done volunteer for cheer coaching and mentors for little girls. So, I try to take my pain and use it to inspire others and help others.
Of course. I'm glad you said that, because our next question was like, what would you say? What advice would you give to people or girls watching this that are going through something similar or has been through something like that? What would you say?
Can we edit that little beeps out?
Of course,
okay.
I will.
I would say if you are in a situation and you're going through struggle, a hard time, abuse, find some resources. When I was growing up, we didn't have the social media, iPhones and TikTok and all these different things. There are so many resources out there for you to reach out to get help, and keep your head up. If no one is telling you that you're strong, if no one is telling you that you're beautiful, I will tell you, I've been through a lot and I am still here standing, and I'm able to tell my story to thousands of people, So if you are looking for inspiration, go check out my interviews, subscribe to my YouTube channel, Tasia Simone 11, use me as inspiration. If you feel like I have no examples around me, if you've seen some women going through trauma and you've never seen them get up, watch me, because I'm fighting for not just myself and my daughter, but for every young girl out there that is struggling with any type of abuse or trauma. Stay strong, because you are. And remember this is if you don't take anything else from this interview, remember this. God gave you to your parents as a gift. You do not belong to anyone but the one who sits the most high. So don't ever think that you are not accounted for. Don't ever think just because you don't have a mom or you think your dad doesn't care that the man who sits the most high is not looking out for you. Is not going to bat for you. And he will make your enemies your footstool. He will give you a voice. But without pain, there is no strength. You have to go through some things in life and it will test you. God tests many people. God tests Noah. God tests his own son 40 days and 40 nights. Let's talk about it. God tests Adam and Eve. So what makes you different, right? But you also have the strength of God in you. So keep pushing. And always remember, you are accounted for. You are important. Because if you weren't, God could have created anything. He created the moon, the stars, and the waters. In me, and this beautiful interviewer here. So, if you can't find inspiration, look at us. We're two beautiful Black women that are educated, that met each other and said, I want to empower you. I want to empower you too. And you're here now. So literally. Yes, that's literally how it went. And because I just spoke on a little bit of God, when we met each other, we were like, this is not a mistake. This is not just random, because it was an instant chemistry and an instant connection between us. So thank you for having me. I really appreciate you.
Girl, Tasia, thank you so much.
Yes.
I also even wanted to ask, what made you say now is the time you want your story to be heard? Why are you talking about it now?
Good question. So this past year has been a roller coaster for me. And so it's not me just dealing with it now. This is me speaking out now. So I've been in and out of the hospital. I've been back and forth to Muskegon, Michigan, from Kalamazoo, Michigan, talking to detectives. The military flew out last winter to do an interview with me. It was very intense. They found CPS cases. They found a bunch of different things. So I've been to the psych ward because I don't know if I told you guys previously, but I was told when I went to go get my OBGYN exam to see if I've ever, you can tell in the uterus and things, that I have to take an FSG pregnancy test because I may not be able to have children. So I went into a panic attack at the hospital. So I've been through a lot. So when you say just speaking out now, it's me just being strong enough to tell my story. But as far as my healing and as far as what I've gone through, it's been about a year of me dealing with all of this. So I feel like the reason I chose now is because I'm the type of person to where I kind of have to deal with my own feelings before I express them. I have to process before I express, because the magnitude of the anger that I had, if I got on camera and was like, da, 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 you won't get the message. So I had to pray about it and gain a level of professionalism when I'm speaking so that the people can get me. They can hear me. They can understand me. Because if I just came cultural like I wanted to, it would have been a different interview, honey. So
I know. And like, you're so well put together. Like,
Thank
I
you.
definitely look up to you, Tasia. Like, I know we've just met a couple weeks, months ago, but you are such a strong human being.
thank you.
I love you. I'm glad that you let me, open your home to me to come in here and do this interview.
Absolutely.
Like, I'm so grateful for you telling your story. And I just know that, like, people out there needed this.
Yeah.
Women out there needed this.
Absolutely.
Because you remember I told you, like, I had my play yesterday. I was so tired today.
Yeah.
Like, something just kept saying, you gotta just go. You have to go and get this story. So I'm just like, yeah, this is it. And I'm really glad you talked about God helping you through it all, because, you can't do anything without him. He's your beginning, your end. He knows what you were going to go through even before you were born.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm really glad that this has happened and we're here now and you're able to tell your story. And I really hope it helps somebody out there. And yes, I'm really grateful for you. You guys let me know, or let us know if you have any questions for her.
Please do.
Leave it in the comment section. If you feel like there's something I haven't touched on, you can also let us know. And you can have a part 2 or something.
Okay, we can always do a part 2.
Right. This is about to be like an hour long or something. But, I'm really, really grateful. And it's happened for the best. Like, you are who you are now because of your past.
Absolutely.
Looking at you, no one would even know you've gone through something so traumatic like that.
Yeah.
But you have, and you're still standing strong.
Thank you.
And girl, I admire you.
Thank you.
I really do.
Thank you so much. And I just want to say before we go, the fact that you were able to move your schedule around and accommodate mine and go out of your way, that is amazing. We talked about getting this interview out and setting this up, and we finally got to it today. So thank you for your time. Thank you for sharing your platform with me. And I just want to say, if you want to follow me, you can follow my YouTube. It's TAZA_SIMONE 11, Tasia Simone 11. You can also follow me on Instagram. It's the same, TAZA_Simone. Same for my TikTok. So go ahead and subscribe to my YouTube channel or follow me on Instagram. Thank you.
Okay, of course. I will also just make sure to type that out for people so they can see it, and also leave it in the description box below. But thank you guys so much for tuning in on this episode, and I hope you guys reach out to me if you have something similar to share with us and whatnot, right? But also, I just wanted to say thank you so much once again for doing this interview with me. And Goldies, I hope you have enjoyed this video and learned 1 or 2. Don't trust people so easily. You can't. And that's crazy.
That's true.
Even your family members can be your op.
Big ops.
Big ops. Okay, not the little ones. The big ops.
Big ones. Yes.
So please
talk about it.
be observant.
look out for the good, the bads, the do's and don'ts, right? And I hope to see you guys in my next video.
Yes.
Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Mwah.
Thank you.
See you later, Goldies.
Bye.
Bye-bye.